The council, like many other local authorities all over the country, have begun a massive scheme of housing redevelopment, civil service jargon for pulling down old slums and putting up new buildings. Most people feel that the new buildings, however ugly, are some improvement on the old, and they can bear to lose their homes provided they're given something better in its place. Under the 1957 Housing Act, local authorities are empowered to buy up old property, indeed any property they wish, so that they can clear the land for rebuilding. Under the public health regulations, they're also empowered to condemn houses as unfit to live in, and if a house is condemned, it can then be bought by the same local authority for a knockdown price, for site value only. This mightn't matter if it only affected slum landlords who've been grinding the faces of the poor for 100 years or more. Unfortunately, the regulations make no distinction when it comes to condemning people's homes between wicked landlords and luckless owner-occupiers. Both are awarded the same financial slap in the face, only of course it hits the little people hardest. People like Mr. and Mrs. Quinlan, who've scraped and saved to buy their own home. Now it's been condemned, it's almost worthless. Naturally, Mrs. Quinlan feels the victim of an injustice.
Well, I don't think it's right at all. I think we should be able to choose, have the right to choose what we want to do with our own property. And no one, until all this started, no one was interested at all in us or in the house. We bought it. We started from scratch. We spent years on it, built it up, put all the wages, spur money, anything at all that we had into it. He's given years of labour, and I've given years of my time to living in it and building it up to what it is now. And it can be even better now as time goes on. Because our family are grown up, most of the struggle's over with them. We're bringing them up. But to the kiddies it's home, and to me it's home. And you don't like pulling your roots up as you get older. People don't understand this, but it's true. You don't have to be old. And you've got to live in a house to make it live. And then you love that house. You put your heart and your soul, everything you've got into it. And suddenly someone just comes along and says, I want it, it's yours, it's mine. You'll have to get out and find somewhere else to go. And it's not fair at all. Not to young people, old people, or anyone.
What did you do about it?
Well, I felt worried. There was nothing really much I could do about it, because to me it seems like this, the big bell goes bing bing, and bong bong rather, and the little bell only goes ping, and that's what we are, the little bell. Nobody seems to hear us, what we have to say.
Much of Oldham is run down, hit by what they call the blight, the decay that sets in when a compulsory purchase order looms. And when the order is actually issued, it's often the small businesses which suffer most, even when the shopkeeper doesn't own the property.
The dark blue one.
There's no proper compensation for the goodwill bought and paid for in the first place, and then slowly built up by hard work and good value over the years. Men like Danny Corallo stand to lose everything but their stock when they're turned out of their shops. Danny has already been given notice to quit. Of course, there was a public inquiry when the compulsory purchase order was first mooted, but to Danny it seemed that the whole thing was a foregone conclusion from the start.
Yeah, oh yes, I went. Everybody was absolutely buffaloed. There was no chance, really. It was an absolute fix. Without any if it had been a court of law, they'd have got 5 years each, a lot of them. They were that bad. It was that much of a fix. It was hopeless.
Did you try to say anything?
Yes, it was sit down, and then, like, when your turn came to speak, and if you spoke out of order, they broke up the meeting. Do you understand? If they broke up the meeting, what you'd said wasn't wrote down, so you had to wait, even though you were going furious. Do you understand? And then you got up in a weak voice, and you said, like, just so many words put down, but you'd got your little words in. You knew they didn't mean anything. And because there was a square-headed bloke one side, and, like, 1984 in front of you, people without any heart or anything. You weren't talking to people. There were people that didn't know about money, about living. They were a kind of people that think money comes out of trees that you just send through the post and it's there. You're up in the air completely. I knew I had to get back to the shop to earn a few quid. I knew the boy had to be paid, all this and that, which I had to get. I knew what had to be bought in, but these type of people, nothing like that about them.
How do you feel about authority telling you that you've got to get out of your shop?
Well, it's like this. If the world comes to that, I might as well get a gun and fight, because there's no hope then. There's no hope. I mean, because it's either trade and freedom or else brutality. That's the way I look at it, because unless you're going to be subservient, you can't be intimidated into nothing when you know what's right. These type of people are having trying to have such as me call them sir, that are providing them with their bread and butter. When I first came to this town, I knew it was a wreck, but I knew I liked the people tremendously. I knew the sort of people they were, because I'm a Lancashire lad, and I thought, right, cock, I know what they've done, but I'm coming in and I'll be bringing in the stuff whatever they do. And after they've stopped it, I'll still be bringing in the stuff if I can. If they come to get me, they can get me right here. That's the only way to get me. And I'm willing to rebuild and put my money, but you can see all my money's here. Stock. Do you follow me? It's not in daft houses and all the rest of it. Do you understand? That's where my money is there. Right?
Do you think it's fair that someone should be able to tell you that you've got to leave your shop, that you've got to find other premises?
Well, if they do that, where's the world going to be? If they tell you, well, what do you want me to go and work in a factory and put a screw in here for them? Do you understand? While they're sat at their offices making another £1 million blunders, which I as a businessman know about, which if I did, I'd be broke. And if I took anything off anybody and told anybody a compulsory order, I'd be in jail, wouldn't I? If I took your tie off you, where would I be? I mean, nay, it's the end of civilization, isn't it?